Chelsea, it's the return of the Moo, but who is he going to spend their moolah on? Could it be Wayne Rooney, or is he heading to the Emirates? And what about Real Madrid? They kept hold of their president, now can they keep hold of Cristiano Ronaldo? Joining me are former Chelsea and Norway striker Tore André Flo and international football writer Peter Staunton. I'm James Richardson, this is Transfer Talk. First off, Tore, I'm very excited. Jose Mourinho coming back to Chelsea. What's the mood like at Cobham?
Yes, I work at the academy for the moment, and there's a real buzz around there. The last few weeks we've heard the rumours about him coming back, and all the staff likes him. It seems like that to me. We all know that the players used to like him, and of course the supporters loved him. And he loves them, so it seems that this could be a very good story for Chelsea.
Yeah, it's just the boss that had one or two issues with him, but apparently that's all settled. They do need one or two players up front, wouldn't you say? A couple of forwards?
Yeah, they could need one or two. Well, Torres picked up towards the end of the season. With him in a very good form, he could be the solution, actually. Now that the price tag talk has been slowed down a bit, he might be a bit more relaxed and start scoring even more goals.
And yet they are looking at several big names from around the world of European centre forwards.
Yeah, Edinson Cavani is probably the most prominent name that's appeared on the Chelsea list, but they're also looking to strengthen in other areas too. And before Mourinho was even appointed as the new Chelsea manager, there was a deal as good as done for Marco van Ginkel, the Vitesse midfielder. Also looking around as well at Daniel De Rossi from Roma. All
right, another midfielder. What kind of players are we talking about here?
Van Ginkel he's a box-to-box midfielder, he describes himself as. He's got goals in him and he's got really good stamina and doesn't shirk away from the defensive side of the game either. So perhaps a replacement for ageing players like Frank Lampard and maybe an upgrade on the likes of John Obi Mikel.
Of course, you know De Rossi from your time in Serie A.
I do, yeah. I played against him. Very good player. Maybe not the best season last season, but over the years he's been very, very good for Rome, and it could be a good signing for Chelsea as well.
Now there's been talk of Wayne Rooney possibly being destined for Stamford Bridge. How realistic do you think that is?
Yeah, Rooney, he looks like a player that's in need of a challenge again. I think he's been sidelined a little bit with Robin van Persie becoming the #1 striker at Man United, so maybe he would fancy a new challenge. We do know that Jose Mourinho likes Wayne Rooney, but we know that Chelsea also aren't the only club who's in for him this summer.
Indeed not. Across town at Arsenal, there's all sorts of interest, and possibly it's a mutual interest between Wayne and his people and Arsenal and his people.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one, actually. Straight off looking at it, you don't think it's a great fit, but Wayne Rooney joining Arsenal could be a fantastic move. There's a good English core at the club nowadays, and Rooney is familiar with the likes of Jack Wilshere, who gets on really well with in the England squad, Theo Walcott, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And the idea of leading a new Arsenal into an era of success is something that could really appeal to Rooney, provided they could do the deal financially.
Well, are Arsenal going to really spend serious money then this summer?
Well, there is money to spend. A deal in place for Ashley Williams, the Swansea and Wales captain. Julius Cesar also, the QPR goalkeeper they've been looking at. So whether Arsene Wenger chooses to open his wallet this summer is another thing, but certainly there are players being linked like never before, I suppose.
Victor Wanyama from Celtic as well, who impressed so many people in the Champions League.
Yeah, he done well, but I also think Arsenal, they need to get in some new faces, and it seems like they're willing to do that as well. I've heard rumours that Podolski might go, but in my opinion they should keep players this time and get in some new faces instead.
Well, there's also possibly Laurent Koscielny being a transfer target for Bayern Munich. Yikes.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola coming into Bayern Munich, maybe looking to strengthen his back line, freshen up his options with Daniel van Bouten obviously getting another year older. Koscielny's had a really good season, but again, I agree with Tore. Arsenal need to be concentrating their energies on keeping the players that they have on the books, as well as improving in the transfer market too.
Throw us a surprise name for Arsenal?
Not really surprised, but one interesting player who they may come on board is Clement Grenier from Lyon. Really spectacular player when it comes to his through balls, when it comes to his goals, and he could be one to look out for in the French national team in years to come, but one who could do really, really well at Arsenal.
All right, and what about Man City? What have they got in the pipeline?
They've just completed a deal for, according to Sevilla that is, they've just completed a deal for Jesus Navas, the spectacularly fast right winger. I think 25 million euros was the fee mentioned for that one. And also they will be looking to strengthen up front as well, you have to imagine, with a new manager coming in.
The Cavani question still unresolved.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rumours to Man City for him, but he's obviously linked with Chelsea as well. There's been rumours about a swap, Torres and Cavani for Chelsea. There's a lot of rumours, obviously, but Man City, they are looking to strengthen their side, and especially up front as well. The big clubs always do that, don't they?
Indeed. Tevez possibly on his way out. We'll come to his likely destination in a second or two. But looking abroad, the big players have been Monaco, Dmitry Robolovlev, with his stated target of getting them into the Champions League in their first season back in League One. And he's really exercising his wallet, Peter.
Yeah, they've done some spectacular business so far this summer. They've obviously brought in Radamel Falcao, one of the most sought-after players in any transfer window in the last few years. And also James Rodriguez from Porto and João Moutinho. Add to that the experience of Ricardo Carvalho, and they've also added a young defender from Valenciennes. You know, this is a club who's really serious about building its ambition. And, you know, this isn't just some, new club that's come on the scene from nowhere. Monaco have a lot of tradition in French football. And if they can get their ducks in a row, you know, you're looking at a team who could challenge for the French league immediately, I reckon.
Although it's not that easy, is it, just bringing in players? When you were at Chelsea, they tried to assemble and eventually found success under Mourinho, but it does unsettle the team a bit, seeing a lot of new players come in.
Yeah, it's not always easy when you start spending a lot of money. It took Chelsea some years to win a trophy, and we saw that at Man City as well. So it's not easy. He's got a big job, the manager there, Claudio Ranieri, but he's a good man for it, I think, and we'll see. It's a bit difficult, but I'm sure in a couple of years' time they will be one of Europe's bigger team if they continue spending like this.
It certainly might be easier to reach those Champions League positions in Ligue 1 rather than, say, the Premier League. Do you think Falcao is worth the money, or would you rather spend it on a Cavani?
Yeah, I think Falcao is a very good player, but I was a bit surprised he didn't go to Chelsea, actually, because the rumours have been there for so long and so strong. So I was pretty sure that he was coming to Chelsea. That surprised me a little bit, but to compare those two players, they are top world-class players, both of them.
All right. Now, in the market for a top-class centre-forward are Juventus, which has kind of been the situation for the last couple of seasons, in fact. It cost them dearly in Europe this time around. Now, they've got Llorente already in place for next season, but you hear talk of Jovetic, you hear talk of Tevez, you hear talk of Higuain coming in. Which, if any, is actually going to arrive, do you think?
Yeah, Jovetic, an interesting one. Arsenal obviously heavily linked with Jovetic, but they're miles apart with Fiorentina on the valuation at the moment. So I think maybe Gonzalo Higuain, who probably lead almost a revolution at Real Madrid this summer, he could be first out the door, and he looks like a real viable option for Juventus.
First out the door after Mourinho, who we started with, and it allows us to finish off on Real Madrid. They just had their presidential elections. Perez coming back in. He's got three big jobs, really. The first is who is going to be his replacement for Mourinho on the bench.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Ancelotti coming. I think that would be a very good man for them. But would PSG let him go? That's the big question.
Will they let him go, Peter?
Well, they're digging their heels in at the moment, and rightly so. He's just coached them to the quarterfinals of the Champions League and also to the league title. So he's the man for the job as far as they're concerned.
Job two, meanwhile, is keeping hold of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Florentino Perez, he was full of bluster yesterday at his press conference when he said that they're going to win the 10th Champions League title and Cristiano Ronaldo is going to lead them to it. He expects Ronaldo to retire at Real Madrid. Whether he does or not is a different story, but Perez wants him there for the long term.
All right, and the third thing, of course, is to buy somebody flash to keep up with the friends down at Barcelona.
Yeah, they got a big pressure on them to get some big names in. Real Madrid always has that, especially now when Barcelona has got some big names in as well. So they need some big players in, and who's that going to be? I'm not sure, but it needs to be a big name.
Well, presumably you're now going to mention Cavani, Bale, who else? Tevez, Suarez?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. You know, the week that Barcelona signed Neymar, Real Madrid go and sign a former youth team product, Daniel Carvajal from Bayer Leverkusen. So it shows you where their priorities lie. But you know, don't be mistaken, this is still Galactico Real Madrid. They still want a big name in. Whether it's Bale, whether it's Suarez, or whether it's Edison Cavani, you're going to see one of those massive unveilings at the Bernabeu this summer for sure.
Possibly all three, because after all, these are investments.
according to Perez, yeah, you want to see players with resale value, but also players who can shift a lot of shirts too.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Gareth Bale, and he would be a brilliant signing, of course, but he would be very, very expensive for them.
Thank you, Tori. Thank you, Peter. Well, that is Transfer Talk. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions for us, just leave them down below.